بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum. The Lahore Ahmadiyya community welcomes you to its Call of the Messiah broadcast number 21. Just to remind you that this community was established by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. And his teaching was that the Holy Prophet Muhammad is the Khatamun Nabiyyin. And this was explained by the Holy Prophet Muhammad himself by saying that it means La Nabiyya Ba'di. There is no prophet after. So although some people say that an old prophet will come after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, and some say a new prophet has or will come after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad believed and taught that no prophet, old or new, can come after the Holy Prophet Muhammad. He also taught that the Holy Quran is complete. All the revelation that God sent to the Holy Prophet Muhammad through the angel Gabriel is compiled in the Holy Quran. Some people say Ayah Rajam is missing. Some people say Surah Walayat is missing. He said, and we believe, nothing is missing. He also taught us that no verse of the Holy Quran is abrogated. Some people believe over 500 verses of the Holy Quran are abrogated. Some people believe 5 verses of the Holy Quran are abrogated. We do not believe any verse of the Holy Quran has been abrogated. In the same way, Hazrat Sahib taught us that jihad is a fundamental duty of every Muslim. And it cannot be abrogated. Every second of their lives, every Muslim must conduct jihad. The nature of jihad may change. Its form may change. But it remains a fundamental duty of every Muslim. If you're attacked with a sword, then the jihad is to defend yourself with the sword. If you're attacked by the pen, then the jihad is to defend Islam with the pen. The form may change, but the duty remains. In these broadcasts, we bring to you the writings of Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib on different topics. Today's topic is the 2 parts of the Holy Prophet Muhammad's life. So I will share the screen with you to show that we don't make these things up. This is what Hazrat Sahib himself actually wrote. And as this is the English part of the transmission, I will translate it as I go along. This is not the subtitle that Hazrat Sahib gave. The two parts of the life of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. God divided the life of our Prophet, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, into two parts. One part consisted of difficulties and pain, and the other part consisted of victory. This was so that at the time of difficulties, that character manifests itself, which is shown at the time of trials. And at the time of victory and power, those characteristics are shown which cannot be revealed without gaining power. So that was how it came to pass, that both characteristics of the Holy Prophet Muhammad were revealed in these two times, in these two stages, and shown clearly. Thus, the time of difficulties, which the Holy Prophet Muhammad, our Prophet, suffered for 13 years at Mecca, was one. Reading about his life during this time clearly shows that the Holy Prophet Muhammad showed the characteristics which the perfect righteous servants show at that time. That is to say, trusting in Allah, not complaining or moaning, showing no reluctance in carrying out the task entrusted to him, not being impressed by someone's power or authority. These characteristics were shown, and shown in a way that the non-believers who saw this steadfastness, they embraced Islam. And they bore witness that unless and until someone fully trusts in Allah, he cannot, with this steadfastness and in this way, bear the difficulties and trials and tribulations. Then when the second stage came, that is to say, of victory and power and wealth, Then at that time, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's high moral characteristics of forgiveness, of generosity, of bravery reveal themselves with perfection, such that a large group of unbelievers, seeing those characteristics, came to faith. Those who gave him pain, he forgave them. Those who expelled him from his city, he gave them peace. Those who were deprived, he made wealthy. And once he had overpowered his biggest enemies, he let them go. Thus it was that many people who saw this moral character of the Holy Prophet bore witness that unless someone is from God and someone is truly righteous, he cannot show such high moral character. That is why the age-old enmity of his enemies was suddenly washed away. His high moral character, which he showed, is the character that is mentioned in the Holy Quran in these words. In chapter called Al-An'am, verse 163. That is to say, tell them, my worship, my sacrifices, my life, my death, they're all in the way of Allah. That is to say, manifest His glory in this world. And further, it is to provide peace and comfort for His creatures, so that my death may lead to their life. In this place, the mention of dying for the sake of Allah and for the sake of good of His people should not lead someone to think that, God forbid, like the ignorant or the mad people, he actually determined to commit suicide. This false idea that if he killed himself with some instrument will be beneficial to others is something that the Holy Prophet was against. The Holy Quran itself declares such people to be criminals. As it says in Al-Baqarah, verse 196, do not commit suicide. Do not use your own hands to kill yourself. It is obvious that if Khalid has a pain in his stomach, and Zad, feeling sorry for Khalid, smashes his head, and Zad has not done anything good to relieve Khalid's pain. He has done something stupid by smashing his head open. Something good, a virtue would have been when Zad, to serve Khalid, did something that benefited him, provided medication for him, had him treated in accordance with the laws of medicine. But he smashed his head open. He did no good for Zad without justification. He harmed an organ of his own body. Thus, what this verse means is that if the Holy Prophet Muhammad had truly sacrificed his life for the service of humanity, with prayer, with propagation, with bearing their enmity and disloyalty, and in every proper and wise manner sacrificed his life and his comforts for their sake. As God says in Al-Shura verse 4, will you, in this despair and with hard work that you're carrying out for the sake of humanity, kill yourself? And for those people who do not accept the truth, will you worry so much that it kills you? Thus, if you have to sacrifice your life for your people, then the wise thing to do is that for their benefit, you follow the law of nature. You bear difficulties and you come up with appropriate plans. And for this, you devote your life to reform your people. And not that you call your people and you see them transgressing and you take a stone and smash your head with that stone, or find some strychnine and eat that and leave this world, and then say and then think or believe that by doing so we have done good, we have found salvation for our people. This is not how men behave. This is how people without courage behave. When they face a difficulty and they can't bear it, they run to suicide. It doesn't matter afterwards how you interpret that suicide. But without doubt, such a step is an embarrassment for people with rationality and with wisdom. It is obvious that such person does not have the patience and the fact that he could not face the enemy. He cannot be found to set an example. The person who did not get an opportunity to avenge, how do we know what he would have done if he'd had the power to avenge what was done to him? Unless and until a man goes through a period of trials and difficulties and finds power and government and wealth, he cannot fully show his high moral character under all circumstances. It is clear that a person who only lives in weakness and poverty and without power, and if he dies because people persecute him, and he never finds a time of power and government and wealth, his patience does not prove anything. If he does not go to the battlefield, we cannot tell whether he was really brave or a coward. We cannot say anything about his high moral character because we do not know. What do we know he would have done if he had overpowered his enemies? How would he have treated them? What would he have done if he'd become very rich? Would he have hoarded the wealth for himself or distributed it to people? If he'd gone to a battlefield, would he have run away like cowards? Or like the brave, shown his mantle? It was our Lord's blessing that he provided our Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, an opportunity to show his high moral character in full. Thus, generosity, bravery, kindness, forgiveness, justice, they all manifested themselves in such a way that if you look at the history of the world, you cannot find another example to match him. In both periods of his life, weakness and power, poverty and wealth, he showed the whole world how his character consisted of the highest moral values. And there is no human moral value for which he did not have an opportunity given by God to manifest. Bravery, generosity, steadfastness, forgiveness, kindness, and so on and on. all the highest moral qualities were proven to be in his character in such a way that it is impossible to find another example of that in the history of the world. It is true that those who took injustice to its extreme and tried to destroy Islam, Lord did not leave them without punishment. For to leave such people without punishment is to set an example that these people can trample the righteous under their feet. This was a part of actually a lecture called Islami Usul ki Philosophy. The background of this lecture is that an organization set some questions to leaders of different religions and sects. This is in India. And they wanted those answers, those questions answered. But the condition was that the answer must be validated from their holy book. Not from Maulana this and Maulana that. They had to restrict themselves to their holy book. And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was one of the people who was invited to do this. And he received a revelation from God saying that his lecture will be the best. And he didn't read it out himself. It was Maulana Abdul Kareem who read it out. And every speaker was allocated a certain time, and the time ran out. So the next speaker, who was a Muslim, said, "This is such a wonderful reply that I give my time to this speaker as well." So the lecture continued, and then the time of the conference finished. So the participants insisted that the conference is extended by a day so that they can hear the full reply. So the conference was extended by a whole day so that the whole of Hazrat Sahab's lecture could be read out, and it was unanimously declared to be the best. And in this, as you have seen, what he said about proving was that it's one thing to have a fine, wonderful theory written in a book. You say, best human beings live like this. But the question then arises, is there an example? Is there an example of how such a person has lived? And our beloved Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed that a human being can live in this world in accordance with the teachings of the Holy Quran. And if he does, If he does, he will be taken to the highest moral character and values as an example for people of this world. With this, we come to an end with our English broadcast today. We apologize that last week on Wednesday and Thursday we could not bring our reflections of the Holy Quran series to you. Inshallah, we will continue with that from tomorrow onwards. In the meantime, with the prayer that whoever you are and wherever you are, may Allah keep all of you safe and sound and free from harm. Assalamu alaikum. Khuda Hafiz. Goodbye.